Let's talk about it. Men who know how to handle a woman's V at Gina are not just rare, they are built differently. See, most men think it's all about thrusting, pounding, and being a beast in the bedroom, but here's the thing. Any man can enter, but not every man can connect. The difference is in how he treats her body, not like it's some conquest, but like it's a sacred space. A man who understands a woman's V at Gina knows it's not just about pleasure, it's about trust, safety, and respect. He listens to her moans, watches her body language, and adjusts, not because he's weak, but because he's strong enough to care. He's not rushing, he's patient. He takes his time to explore every curve, every reaction, every breath. He knows that a woman's arousal starts in her mind long before it reaches her body. That's why foreplay isn't optional for him. It's a whole experience. This kind of man makes a woman feel like her pleasure matters as much as, if not more than, his own. He's the one she'll never forget, because he's not just satisfying her body, he's touching her soul. Men like this, they're built different, and trust me, women know when they've been with one. Most men have been taught to approach intimacy like it's some kind of competition or a battle they need to win. They see it as a conquest, something to take, something to dominate, something to claim, but the truth is, a woman's body is not a battlefield. It's not a space for ego or performance. Men who are built different understand this. They know it's not about what they can take. It's about what they can give and how deeply they can connect. The difference between a man who conquers and a man who connects is like night and day. One is only focused on his own pleasure, moving so fast that he barely notices her reactions. The other slows down, he listens, he's present, he knows that every touch, every kiss, every movement should be about mutual pleasure, not a one-sided victory lap. He's not rushing to the finish line because, for him, there is no finish line, there's just the journey of exploring her, understanding her, and making her feel safe enough to open up completely. A woman's V at Gina is more than a physical organ. It's connected to her emotions, her mind, and her sense of security. Men who approach it with dominance and aggression may think they're being strong, but in reality, it takes more strength to be gentle. It takes strength to care about her comfort, to read her body language, to ask her what feels good, and to actually listen to her responses. This is where connection happens, not through force, but through presence. When a man makes it about connection instead of conquest, something changes in the energy between them. The woman stops feeling like an object and starts feeling like a partner. Her walls come down, her body relaxes, and she becomes more open to experiencing pleasure. And here's the secret most men don't realize. A woman who feels emotionally safe and connected will naturally give more of herself. She will let go, she will respond, and the intimacy will feel deeper than anything physical. Men who are built different know that intimacy isn't about being rough or wild just to prove a point. It's about making her feel like the most important person in that moment. They understand that connection is the real key to unlocking a woman's pleasure. When she feels connected, she's not just physically engaged, her heart and mind are in it too. And that, more than anything, is what separates a forgettable experience from one she'll remember for a lifetime. A man who is truly patient and attentive in intimacy is in a league of his own. He understands that a woman's body is not a machine with an on and off switch. It's more like a delicate instrument that requires time, care, and intention to play. He's not in a rush to reach a goal because, for him, the process itself is the reward. His patience isn't a weakness, it's a quiet strength that sets him apart. When he touches her, it's not hurried or mechanical. Every movement is deliberate, every caress measured. He's not focused on what's next. He's present in the moment, reading her reactions like an open book. He notices how her breath changes with a particular touch, how her skin responds to his lips, how her body arches or softens under his hands. These are the cues that guide him, and because he's paying attention, he never has to guess. He knows when to slow down, when to intensify, and when to simply pause and let her feel. This kind of attentiveness creates an entirely different atmosphere. Instead of her feeling like she's performing for his pleasure, she feels like she's being discovered, cherished, even. A patient man doesn't just go straight to the obvious places. He explores her body like it's uncharted territory, finding new ways to awaken her senses. His hands trace paths that others would overlook. His mouth lingers in places that make her gasp. And he doesn't stop just because he's eager for the main event. For him, foreplay isn't a chore or a warm-up, it's part of the experience, and he savors it as much as she does. Women can feel the difference between a man who's attentive and one who's self-absorbed. When a man is patient, it communicates something powerful, that her pleasure matters as much as his own. He's not there to take, he's there to share. He knows that a woman's arousal isn't instantaneous, that her body and mind need time to sink. So he waits not passively, but actively, engaging her senses, building her desire until she's not just ready, but craving him. And here's what makes this patience so potent. It creates anticipation. A woman's pleasure deepens when she feels like every second is about her, when she senses that he's fully invested in her experience. Men like this leave an imprint that lasts because they're not rushing to an orgasm. They're creating a memory. They're built differently because they understand that in intimacy, slow is not boring. Slow is unforgettable. There's a reason why foreplay isn't optional for men who are built differently. They understand that a woman's body doesn't respond to switches being flipped. It's not about diving in and expecting instant fireworks. True intimacy starts long before clothes come off, and men who get this treat foreplay as an art, not an obligation. For them, it's not something to rush through just to get to the main act. It is the act. These men know that a woman's arousal is a layered experience. It begins in her mind, through the words he speaks, the way he touches her hair, the look he gives her across the room. Foreplay starts with a whisper in her ear, with hands brushing her skin lightly enough to send shivers down her spine. It's the teasing, the anticipation, the slow burn that builds a craving so strong she doesn't just want him, she needs him. And that kind of intensity only comes when a man takes his time. The problem with many men is that they see foreplay as a checkbox: kiss her, touch her, then move on. But the ones who are built differently make her feel like she's the center of the universe in those moments. They linger, their hands explore her body like it's a treasure map. Their lips travel paths that others rush past. They take the time to learn what makes her gasp, what makes her tremble, and they stay there, not because they're trying to impress, but because they want her to unravel in their arms. They also understand that foreplay is not just physical, it's emotional. It's about making her feel safe enough to let go. It's about creating a space where she doesn't feel judged, where she feels beautiful, desirable, and adored. When she's in that state of mind, her body follows. Her skin becomes more sensitive, her responses more intense, and her pleasure more profound. Men like this are unforgettable because they're not in a rush to get inside her body. They're more interested in getting inside her mind. They tease her until her body aches for more, until her breath quickens and her hands pull him closer. By the time they take her, she's already halfway there, and her pleasure is no longer something to be achieved, it's inevitable. This is the difference between men who see sex as a race and men who see it as a journey. The ones who prioritize foreplay are not only skilled lovers, they're architects of unforgettable experiences. They know the secret. When you take the time to awaken a woman's body, her response will blow your mind. There's a level of intimacy that can only be unlocked when a woman feels safe, not just physically, but emotionally. Men who are built differently understand this on a deep level. They know that respect is not a courtesy, it's a necessity. A woman's V at Gina isn't just another part of her body. It's connected to her emotions, her sense of self, and her deepest vulnerabilities. To access her fully, a man must first create an environment where she feels valued, not used, desired, not objectified. Respect in intimacy starts long before he touches her. It's in the way he looks at her, as though she's more than just a body to conquer. It's in the way he listens when she speaks about her boundaries, her fears, and her desires. He never pushes, never pressures, never assumes. Instead, he invites her into an experience where she feels in control. And because she feels safe, her body responds to him in ways it never would to someone who made her feel like a means to an end. Emotional safety is what allows a woman to let go fully. When she senses that a man honors her body, she doesn't hold back. Her moans become louder, her movements freer, her pleasure deeper. This isn't just biology, it's psychology. A woman who feels respected and cherished doesn't have to keep her guard up. She knows that in his presence, she's not being judged, compared, or rushed. She can be wild, soft, vulnerable, and everything in between because she trusts that he'll hold her through it all. This kind of man doesn't mistake dominance for strength. He understands that real strength lies in gentleness, in the ability to slow down, to ask, "Do you like this?" and actually wait for an answer, to notice when her body tenses and adjust instantly. Respect shows in small ways, in asking for consent, in checking in during the act, in ensuring that she's comfortable and never in pain. A man who makes a woman feel emotionally safe will experience a side of her that others never get to see. She will explore her own pleasure more freely with him because she knows he won't shame her for wanting more, for being vocal, or for asking for what she likes. He becomes the man she feels most alive with, not because of some fancy techniques, but because of how he makes her feel inside. Women never forget men like this because they stand out from the crowd. They're not driven by ego or selfishness. They know that the foundation of unforgettable intimacy isn't in rough hands or aggressive moves. It's in respect and care. And that's why their touch lingers in her memory long after they're gone. There are men a woman forgets as soon as they leave her bed, and then there are those she remembers for a lifetime. The difference isn't always about size, stamina, or skill. It's about how he made her feel, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Men who are built differently know that intimacy is not just about satisfying an urge. It's about creating an experience so powerful it leaves an imprint on her soul. A man who leaves a lasting impression isn't transactional about intimacy. He doesn't treat it like a checklist or a performance. He's fully present in the moment, as if nothing else in the world matters except her. His hands don't just touch, they explore. His lips don't just kiss, they worship. His focus isn't split between his own pleasure and hers. He's immersed in her every breath, in every shiver that runs down her spine. That level of focus makes her feel like she's the most desirable woman on earth, and that feeling lingers long after he's gone. For a woman, the emotional connection during intimacy is just as important, if not more, as the physical sensations. Men who are unforgettable know this. They take the time to learn her body, to listen to her cues, and to amplify her pleasure in ways she didn't even know were possible. They're not just trying to make her climax. They're trying to take her to a place where her entire body feels alive, where her soul feels seen. This kind of man doesn't rush to finish because he knows the value of anticipation. He teases her until her body is aching for release, then pulls back just enough to make her want it even more. He understands that intimacy is a dance, not a sprint, and in that dance he leads with confidence but never with selfishness. His goal is not just to leave her satisfied, it's to leave her longing, thinking about his touch at the most unexpected times, craving him in ways she can't explain. The truth is, women don't remember every man they've been with, but they always remember the one who took his time, the one who made her laugh in between kisses, the one who wasn't afraid to be gentle and strong at the same time. They remember the man who made them feel safe enough to explore their deepest desires without shame. That's what makes him unforgettable, not just what he did to her body, but how he made her feel in her mind and heart. Men like this don't have to brag about their skills. They don't have to chase or beg for her attention afterward. Because when a man connects with a woman this deeply, she'll never see him the same way as the others. She'll know this one was built different.